This is the story of the internet's most controversial teen, a girl who gained notoriety before she could legally drive. Apart from the outright degenerates and disastrous lolcows we cover on this channel, very few have sparked controversy so massive that even major mainstream media had to step in. And at the top of that list, Tanjali, a TikTok star turned scandal magnet. Aya has faced relentless ridicule from the internet for engaging in behavior that no 14-year-old should ever be involved in. From grinding an Ice Spice's music video in ways that were blatantly inappropriate, to fueling bizarre romance rumors with Drake, everything you're about to hear might sound like typical influencer drama, if she weren't way too young to even be called an adult. Because let's be real, everything we're about to discuss wouldn't even be that shocking if we were talking about a grown woman. But Aya, she's not. And yet somehow, she's managed to find herself caught up in more controversy, drama, and scandals than most people will experience in their entire lifetime. Aya is the definition of a clout chaser, willing to do anything for internet attention. And if there's one relationship that proves this beyond a doubt, it's her toxic dynamic with the famous streamer, young Dabu. Dabu made it painfully obvious that he was interested in her. He spoiled her, showered her with gifts, and treated her like a queen. And Aya, what did she do in return? Absolutely nothing. Well, unless you count draining his wallet and milking his attention for more internet fame. And honestly, at this point, how do people not see these setups coming? It's this same tired story. Guy simps hard, girl takes full advantage, and then boom, heartbreak. But here's the best part. Dabu finally caught on. Took him long enough. And when the realization hit him, he lost it. Because in one explosive live stream, the truth became undeniable. Aya never cared about him. She cared about what he could give her. Classic.
You don't trust these fools, man. Don't trust these fools, man. Don't trust none of them. They all the same. Never trust anybody. Nobody. Never. I'm out, man. No fuck.
By now, it's obvious. Aya is addicted to attention and has been caught up in more controversy than most influencers twice her age. But before we dive deeper into the mess, let's rewind and set some context. Who is Aya Tanjali, and how did she even get here? Aya Salma Tanjali is now 17 years old, but her TikTok journey started 4 years ago, back in the COVID era, when she was just 13. And back then, she was different. Her content wasn't about shock value or controversy. It was just lighthearted comedic TikTok skits. You know, those funny POV videos that were everywhere on TikTok at the time. And honestly, she was kind of cool. She was funny, entertaining, and for a while, just a normal teen making content. But that phase didn't last long, because very quickly, her content took a turn that no one saw coming.
Everybody was on their phone, like home, there's nothing to do, quarantine and stuff. And so I was just like into TikTok and stuff. And it was like at the time when, you know, point of views, the POVs?
Yeah.
That's when like POVs were like really popular at the moment. So I would do those a lot. And I remember one of mine blew up. And so then I just kept doing like little acting skits on
Strings attached to the nigga from my past. This probably won't last. He got me insane. I'm in love with a nigga that won't change. Can't promise.
Shadow turns to sun rays, and on we'll go.
She was like a regular teen TikTok creator, and she had no controversy attached with her name, but this wouldn't last any longer. Her content quickly turned into something that only could be labeled as insanity. Before even turning 14, Aya started making videos that clearly were sexually provocative, and because of this, she had received a lot of backlash.
Go me, go me, go me, go me, go me, go me, go me.
Many of her fans were vocal about this, flooding her comment section with ridicule and concerns about her age. But despite the backlash, Aya didn't just ignore it, she doubled down, churning out even more videos at an almost relentless pace. Yet instead of dying down, the criticism only escalated. Among the most common, and frankly most reasonable questions, was how her family had ever allowed a 14-year-old to become a thirst trap on the internet. And honestly, that's a fair question. In a situation like this, it needs to be asked. But the answer? It's not just unsettling, it's downright shocking.
The individuals, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like literally my whole family follows me. Like I'm like, no, my dad, I'm the only person my dad follows. And like they don't have a problem with this. So I'm like, if they don't have a problem with this, neither should you.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure.
Aya's family seems to have no issue with their daughter twerking her ass on the internet. It's extremely revolting and at the same time shocking. But what makes this whole situation even more disturbing is that Aya's family are Muslims, and never in a million years does Islam permit such sexual action for anyone, let alone a minor. To be honest, no normal parents would let her daughters go out online and show her body in a sexually provocative manner like Aya does daily. So why did they stay dormant with this issue? Well, there's a highly likely answer for this question.
Like whenever I'm coming out on trips, they don't like. I don't know. It's kind of weird. They make me pay for it.
With millions of followers on TikTok, it's no secret that Aya makes tons of money. And on multiple occasions, there have been subtle cues suggesting that her parents are the ones benefiting the most from her fortune. This would explain why they seem to have no issue with her exposing herself to millions of viewers across the internet. But if you think their silence is bad, just wait, because they're not just bystanders in this mess. Despite being both a Muslim and a parent, Aya's mother even appeared in one video twerking alongside her. This is the most revolting thing we've seen so far because it reveals the complete moral downgrade of Aya's mother. And honestly, it makes you step back and say, well, no wonder this girl turned out like this. It's not just disturbing, it's a glaring red flag about Aya's relationship with her family. And it raises a ton of questions. Are her parents the ones manipulating her into making these videos just to make some quick cash? Did they not realize the long-term damage this could cause, considering these videos will live on the internet forever? One day when she grows up, she'll be just a click away from shame and embarrassment. Or worse, did they just not care and let her do whatever she wants? And while the question of whether they're the masterminds behind all this remains unanswered, our search for the truth led us straight into something even more shocking and controversial. Aya is now at the center of another massive backlash. This time it involves one of the biggest names in rap, Ice Spice. Aya appeared in Ice Spice's music video for Delhi, and let's just say, it wasn't the kind of feature you'd expect from a 16-year-old. The video was filled with heavy twerking, provocative movements, and a level of suggestiveness that, for someone underage, immediately raised alarms. And the internet? Oh, it did not hold back. The backlash came fast and loud. People weren't just calling out Aya, they were outraged at Ice Spice for allowing this to happen in the first place. Even major media outlets like the Daily Mail picked up the story, turning this from just another TikTok controversy into a mainstream debate about industry ethics, minors in entertainment, and once again, parental responsibility. But here's the thing. While Ice Spice absolutely deserved criticism for having an underage girl in such a video, the blame doesn't fall on her alone. Because let's be real, Aya wasn't exactly forced into this. She knew what she was doing. She agreed to be there. She chose to take part in the video, and if history has taught us anything about Aya, it's that she'll chase clout in any way possible, no matter how questionable. But if the internet was mad, Kai Cenat's reaction was something else entirely. Kai, one of the biggest streamers out there, was reacting to the Delhi music video on his stream, completely unaware of the controversy. At first, it was just another typical reaction video with him vibing to the music. But then something happened. His chat exploded with messages. Bro, you know she's 16, right? At first he didn't believe it. He thought the chat was trolling, exaggerating, because surely a 16-year-old wouldn't be doing that in a music video, right? But then he Googled it, and boom.
Let's see. Wacky with the evidence. Ice Spice. First of all, it's probably not even Ice Spice. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in the house. The is you doing? Get the off the couch and go home. What you got going on? Aya Tanjali versus Tanjali. What you got going on, bruh?
Instant change on his face. You could see the realization hit him like a truck. His whole mood shifted, and he got mad, not just at Ice Spice, but at the entire situation. And honestly, rightfully so. Because at this point, we have to ask, how did this even get past so many people? The label, the director, her own parents? Did nobody at any point stop and say, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't put a 16-year-old in this situation? Or did they just not care? Because at the end of the day, whether Aya herself wanted to do this or not, the adults in the room were the ones who let it happen. And yet, despite all this backlash, all the outrage, all the media coverage, Aya just kept going. Because at this point, it wasn't just about TikTok fame anymore. She had real industry connections, mainstream exposure, and if she played her cards right, an actual shot at something bigger. But just as she was seemingly reaching new heights, she made one fatal mistake. One that turned her from an internet controversy into a full-blown legal nightmare. And this is where things take a dark turn. Aya accidentally said she had a different kind of relationship with Drake.
You do.
Be honest, what do you think about the Drake allegations?
Yes, speak on it.
Would you let
That's
Drake? Would you let Drake like you?
That'll be something I can't confess. I mean, not confess, something I can't talk about. Because that'll be in the court.
The court. Drake!
What?
You're a victim?
No.
Look, whether you're a fan of Drake or not, one thing is for sure. Any teenage girl whose name is associated with him is in deep trouble. Or maybe was in trouble of losing her V before she even graduated high school. And Aya's too, but Aya's case isn't a suspect. It's proven with her own testimony. Aya would do everything to get some clout, and no doubt about it. But to sell your body for someone whose age is double to her is just as dumb as one could get. Aya is never at a loss for words. She's loud, outspoken, and always quick to clap back at criticism. But in this one moment, she folded completely. Dabu asked her straight up, "Did you want Drake to have adult stuff with you?" And instead of laughing it off, denying it, or even deflecting like she usually does, she panicked and blurted out, "I can't confess because this'll be in court." Excuse me? That is not how an innocent person answers that question. That's not, "No, that's crazy." That's not even, "I don't know what you're talking about." That's a straight up legal defense. And the second those words left her mouth, you could see it hit her. Like she just realized in real time that she had talked herself into a corner. For someone who normally can't stop talking, Aya went dead silent, awkward, fidgety, almost like you could see the regret flashing in her eyes. At this point, it's not even about whether she was involved with Drake. She literally accidentally admitted that there's something legally questionable going on. But let's set aside Aya's apparent self-snitching for a second and talk about something even weirder, Drake's dad. Now, we're not going to go full deep dive into Drake's history, because that's a whole different mess. But when it comes to Aya, there's one undeniable drama going on with Drake's dad, Dennis Graham, who followed her on Instagram, and at first glance, this could just seem like a random celebrity following a TikToker moment. But this is not the first time this has happened. Multiple times, Drake's dad has been caught following underage girls who later ended up in questionable situations with Drake himself. Coincidence? Maybe, but there are too many coincidences surrounding this man for anyone to believe they're all just random accidents. The speculation is that Drake allegedly uses his dad's account to keep tabs on minors he's interested in, probably as a way to avoid obvious scrutiny. And guess what? Aya was one of them. But the moment this rumor started spreading like wildfire, what did Drake's dad do? He unfollowed her. Now, if there was nothing to hide, why this sudden unfollow? Why not just ignore it and move on? Because if we've learned anything from these situations, it's that when the internet catches on to something, the guilty party's first instinct is to hit damage control mode. Now, let's not get it twisted. Aya isn't some helpless, innocent bystander in this whole mess. She knows what she's doing. She's been actively chasing clout in the most reckless ways possible. And her association with Drake, whether real or exaggerated, is just another chapter in that playbook. But here's the bigger issue. When you make a name for yourself as a literal child by pushing boundaries like this, the wrong kind of people start paying attention. And unfortunately, the way her career has been set up, it's not surprising that she ended up in these situations.
In my life, I'm in such a good space. I have so many big things coming that I'm not even gonna give this little girl the attention that she wants. She used to shake her ass on Instagram for attention.
Just when you thought Aya's controversies were strictly business, she somehow managed to fumble a friendship too. And not just any friendship, her best friend, Alabama Barker. Yes, that Alabama, the daughter of Travis Barker, the legendary drummer of Blink-182. And someone who, for some reason, thought Aya was BFF material. These two were inseparable. They hung out, posted together, hyped each other up. They literally loved each other.
I really know her. If she wants to fight me, tell her to buy a flight to LA, I bet you.
But just like any classic internet friendship, it didn't take much for everything to burn down in flames. Because apparently, a man was involved. And not just any man, Didi Osama.
Look, call you babe for the day, or babe for the night. You not my wife.
If you don't know who that is, don't worry. Just know that Alabama and Didi were in a whole relationship and everything was fine until it wasn't. Because out of nowhere, a wild rumor started spreading that Aya was creeping around with Didi behind Alabama's back. At first, it seemed like typical TikTok gossip, people reaching, making assumptions, trying to stir the pot. But then, we saw Didi's Instagram activity, and let me tell you, it was bizarre. Didi was liking every single photo Aya posted. Every single one. Now listen, you don't have to be a detective to know that when a dude is double tapping on a girl's entire feed like it's a full-time job, something's up. And Alabama noticed, because shortly after the rumors started blowing up, she broke up with Didi. But here's the thing, she never said why. She didn't confirm it was because of Aya. She didn't deny it either. She just dropped him and moved on. And this is where the beef officially kicked off. The friendship goes up in flames. Once Alabama and Didi were over, Aya and Alabama suddenly turned into mortal enemies. Instead of just addressing things privately like normal people, they did what every internet personality does best, brought their drama to social media for all of us to witness. At first it was subtle shots, cryptic posts, shady captions, petty unfollows. But then Aya slipped up. Because during a live stream with her friend CJ, she accidentally confirmed the entire rumor. CJ, being the messy instigator he is, was casually listing Aya's exes. And guess whose name popped up? Didi Osama. The moment he said it, you could literally feel the internet explode. Because there it was, proof.
How many I got?
Let's see. You need to talk to half of them.
That again,
A couple Austin. Yes, some LA. A whole bunch of the LA niggas, the whole spot LA.
And if this doesn't prove that Didi was moving funny behind Alabama's back, then I don't know what does. Now let's not get it twisted. Alabama isn't some innocent angel either. She's been involved in her own fair share of drama, and her relationship with Didi was already questionable to begin with. But let's call a spade a spade. Aya played a major role in this mess, and instead of addressing it like an adult, she just let the internet drag Alabama while pretending she did nothing wrong. And this is what fully ended their friendship. No more love, no more besties, just full-on war. So after completely burning her friendship with Alabama Barker over messy boyfriend drama, you'd think Aya would lay low for a while. But nope. Instead, she jumped straight into another toxic relationship. This time with Dabu, the streamer who had no idea what he was signing up for. And let's just say it didn't take him long to regret it. At this point, Aya's dating history is basically a disaster playlist. But somehow her relationship with Dabu manages to be one of the worst ones yet. Because unlike the Didi Osama situation, which was mostly shady speculation, this one is on camera.
Why look at me like that?
Now, for those who don't know, Dabu is a streamer. And not just any streamer. He's a guy who fell for Aya's trap harder than anyone else. They met on stream, flirted a little, and before you knew it, boom, they were dating. At first, it seemed cute. Dabu was clearly into her, and Aya, well, let's just say she was into his generosity.
Breakup gimmick, all this dumbass gimmick, you know what I mean? You gotta
Because when it came to spoiling her, Dabu went all out. There's literal footage of him buying her everything. Clothes, shoes, bags, expensive gifts. And the biggest proof of his absolute simpery? Christmas. Because this man, this poor, delusional man, thought he and Aya were on this same page. He went all in, showering her with multiple gifts, probably thinking, yeah, she's gonna love this. She's gonna appreciate this. And then it was her turn to give him a gift. And what did she get him? One single gift. That's it. Dabu immediately realized what was happening. The math wasn't mathing. All this time she thought Aya was his girl. But in that one moment, he finally saw the truth. She wasn't there for him. She was there for what he could give her. And this man lost it.
All these women, if you got a vagina, man, you. All these bitches, all these bitches want is something from you. They don't want dick, money, anything. These hoes don't love you. They don't love you. These hoes don't love you, chat. They don't love you. They don't love you, bro. They don't love you. They don't love you. These hoes don't love you. They don't love you. Don't trust these hoes, man. Don't trust these hoes, man. Don't trust none of them. They all the same. Never trust anybody. Nobody. Never. I'm out, man. No fuck.
He went off raging on stream, finally waking up from the gold digger spell she had him under. And honestly, we don't blame him. But if you think this was the worst part of their relationship, you are not ready for what happened next. Because Aya wasn't just emotionally draining Dabu, she was getting physically violent. Now here's where things get more toxic. There was a moment caught on live stream where Aya and Dabu were in a room together, on a bed, just vibing, and out of nowhere, Aya slaps Dabu in the face.
What? Look at me like that.
No joke, no warning, no context, just smack, and the reaction, Dabu was done. Live stream immediately ended. No words, no explanation, just instant regret for ever entertaining this relationship. And honestly, can you blame him? Because at this point, what more proof do we need? Aya wasn't just using him, she had zero respect for him. And what did she do after this whole mess? Did she apologize? Did she show any kind of remorse? Nope. She just kept moving like nothing happened, because that's what Aya does best. Wreck everything, dodge accountability, and move on to the next storyline. If you thought Aya's internet antics were bad enough, things take a way darker turn when you realize she's not just wrecking her own reputation, she's also pulling her younger sister down with her. Because standing right behind Aya, watching her every move, learning from her every mistake, and unfortunately repeating them, is her 15-year-old sister, Sophia. And if there was ever a perfect visual representation of how deep Aya's influence runs, it's that one clip. In this video, Aya and Dabu are hugging, all caught up in their usual drama. And then, right behind them, barely noticed, is Sophia, standing there, watching. And the look on her face is just a pure desperation. It's like she's waiting for her turn, like she's watching and learning exactly how to get attention the way her sister does.
Stop! I'm finally losing my virginity. Holy shit, only costed 3 bands.
Oh my god, babe, I'm so thankful.
And honestly, that's terrifying, because Aya's mess is Aya's mess. But Sophia? She's too young to be caught up in this disaster, yet somehow she's already in too deep. Now here's where things get even more disturbing, because just like Aya, Sophia also ended up dating a famous streamer. His name is Rakai, and unlike her big sister, Sophia wasn't the one causing problems. She was the one getting hurt. Sophia, only 15 years old, got into a relationship with Rakai, fell for him hard, and like any naive teenage girl, thought it was real love. But here's the thing, it wasn't just innocent flirting. Sophia genuinely loved Rakai. She trusted him. She thought this was something real. And then he broke her heart. Because the moment he got what he wanted, Rakai did what every fake internet boyfriend does. He moved on like nothing happened. And the worst part, there's a clip of Sophia crying her eyes out, completely heartbroken, blaming Rakai for everything.
And I'm not even saying this as a fucking troll or nothing. And I actually fucking liked you. And I actually with you. All you wanna do is me up, dude. All you wanna do is just tell my face. And I'm not even trying to.
You don't have to know the full story to see what's happening here. It's the same cycle repeating itself. Aya set the example, Sophia followed. Aya chased clout through relationships, Sophia did the same. Aya thought drama was the way to stay relevant. Sophia is learning that lesson firsthand. And at this point, it's painfully obvious where this is heading. Because if no one steps in, Sophia is about to go down the exact same path as her sister, and we all know how that ends.